Alright, we are in our cart of a ramp lab, and our goal is to measure the acceleration of the cart as it rolls downhill. So one way we can do that is by using kinematic data and kinematic equations. So some simple kinematic data we can measure is a distance that the cart rolls and the time it takes to roll that distance, knowing that we started it from a resting position, because that gives us one other piece of data about its initial velocity. So to keep it simple, we're measuring out 1 meter. We use the meter stick marked at the back side of the meter with this piece of tape. The front side of the meter stick is also marked with a piece of tape. And the indicator we're going to look for to know when the cart has traveled that 1 meter distance is we're going to keep our eyes on the front of the cart. You could also use the back of the cart, but in this experiment, we're going to use the front of the cart. So I will line up the front of the cart with that edge of tape. The reason we keep our eye on one spot on the cart is if you let this go and you let the whole car go by the meter stick, that means the front of the cart will have traveled 1 meter plus that extra length of the car. So it will have gone more than 1 meter of distance. So by looking at one spot on the car, we'll know that it truly did travel the specified distance of 1 meter. We'll set our stopwatches, we'll sync them up with when we release it, and when you let it go, you want to make sure the car is moving pretty parallel to the meter stick that you use to measure out your distance. So you could give it a test run. A little crooked, but it'll do if we have a whole bunch of trials. Another thing we can do is we can slide this book over the piece of tape, and that will give us an auditory signal too when it's traveled a meter, because if we let it go, it hits the book, we know it's time to hit stop on the stopwatch. Last little tip is letting it go instead of using my whole hand. Sometimes when I lift up my hand, I might give it a push in the opposite direction, or I give it a little push in the direction it's going to be moving in. So to make sure that my release isn't influencing the car's motion, you use one finger and just lift it off, and that should give it a pretty good release.